So we figured a few things out, and now it's time for us to walk you through it with the evidence that we've secured. And within the next 15 minutes, there is going to be a paradigm shift if you watch this with openness and any degree of intellectual honesty, because the evidence is clear and speaks for itself. That said, this may not be the right time in your life for this presentation. So tread lightly, please. This is a real situation, and we're handing it off to the world now. Here you go.
So first, you see these fast flyers. They're essentially everywhere. They, I assume, are mistaken for birds and bugs and things of that nature, but they fly in excess of 1,000 miles per hour, and which is why it's so difficult to catch them on camera. But as you see, we've been able to, and you know, there's it's just tough. These things fly so fast, and when you see these screen captures and we zoom in, each one seems like it's different. Not each individual entity, but within the frame of its own flight, it's changing. So sometimes it looks like it has wings. Other times it looks like it has a nose. Sometimes it looks like a rock. Sometimes it looks like technology. Uh, they change and they fly very fast, and they are not bound. They do not appear to be bound by the laws of physics, put it that way. And you'll see in a video coming up soon where it can move like a ping pong ball when it wants to. And it's unsettling how fast they move. Why there's no sound barrier situation or sonic boom, who knows? But again, now you see how fast. Look at the rotors on that plane, on that helicopter. You know how fast that's moving. Now look, this is what these things look like. This is the best picture we were able to capture. This one coming up, this one, where it looks sort of like maybe a mantis head. It looks like it has headlights. It looks like maybe like almost hammerhead shark eyeball style. Who knows? But we thought, okay, enough people will think that's a bird. Let's go film birds and see what a bird looks like. Let's just remind our brains of what a bird looks like, because this is not a bird, but people will tell you it's a bird. So we started filming hawks, and that only lasted one hawk because this happened. The camera got blinky and blurry, and we took it as an indicator. Rather than failed tech, we thought there's something causing it, so we tried to get in closer. And when we did, this is what we found. We found one of these fast flyer things come down from above the hawk, and you see it there, and then it speaks for itself. You see what happens. So this told us that with the camera gets blurry, that's an indicator that we should be looking. And so that gave us a slightly new path with this, and we started filming and keeping an eye out for the blurs that you're seeing in this image here, this slowed footage, where this thing comes down again at exceptionally high rate of speed right in front of the airplane, and the whole screen blinks out. And so we decided to move our eye line up higher and keep an eye out for the blinking and the blurring. And it turned out that was a good decision. So obviously this is a much higher eye line. We're looking up into the sky now over the Los Angeles basin. And what we were looking for is to see if we could see that blink or blurring, whatever you wish to call it. That's what we were looking for as an indicator. So what we said is, okay, let's get a camera and get it up there. Let's get closer to see what's causing it. And so what we did, this is what we saw. This is what we found. So obviously there's a causal connection between the blurring and these entities, and now you see actually two of them. But you have to keep in mind this is scrubbed so slow. These things are moving so fast they're imperceptible to the human eye for the most part. But we wanted to look even closer and say, well, what is it? Why are they causing? How are they causing the blink? And this is the game changer moment that we found. It was somehow inside of it, and it left that plume. And when it left the plume seemed to change and get blurry. So that's when we knew, okay, we have a plan. We know how to find these now. And so we were like, okay, now it's on. We know we have an approach, and then from that point these videos sort of speak for themselves because the process has essentially been laid out now. The blurring is something you should gravitate towards and inspect on a micro level to the extent you can. That's what the takeaway was for us, and like I said, these videos, this footage speaks for itself. And sadly, as is the case in this instance, sometimes these things blur out and do not return, at least not to this space and time, or not to the here and now. And again, we're not reaching conclusions. We're just telling you what the evidence is telling us. Yeah. And like this, you see it at the 8 o'clock mark, you see the little orb or the little whatever it is, the fast flyer, and it was a plane for a moment, and then it looks like a ball of spaghetti. And that is not some sort of prosaic technological fail on the part of an iPhone. This is too repeatable to be a failure of that sort. This is a longer video in terms of this presentation, just because it was such a long battle. Like, you couldn't let it go. Versus most of these are quick, like this, where it happens and then it doesn't. And even that, you could see things flying out of these. Again, like I said, this shouldn't be repeatable, but the fact that it is telling. Another fast flyer right at the end. this is an example of a plane that did not reanimate. So you see a fast flyer and it blinked out and blurred two different planes. So from an investigatory standpoint, you can use Flight Tracker and figure out what specific flights these are, and then contact the carriers and secure the flight data. It's obvious and easy, even more so when it's military. Now, this is where things start to get a little dark, unfortunately. I do not believe this craft ever reanimated. But this is when we started to wonder, where are these things when they're not here doing what we're capturing? What are they doing and where are they? And so we started to question that and give that some micro thought. And it basically forced us to look up once again and try to discern with as much clarity as possible what we were looking at. And you'll see momentarily what we found. So yeah. That was on a clear day, by the way. There's two cloud plumes, that one and then one to the right. But if you look at how the things are moving there, you see they're congressing. They're gathering. Clouds don't meet at a focal point generally. But more importantly, too, if you look at this, and we'll watch this again, but if you look at it and look through these things specifically and narrowly with precision, you're going to see something. And if you look with this image in your mind's eye and go back and relook at this, zoomed in, scrub slowly, it's right in front of us. So it seems that this is one answer, at least, as to where they are sometimes. Because you can literally see them if you know what you're looking for. And they even move like sentient beings, not like clouds. And this brings us to the end and to the stealth bomber, which was on January 1st over the Rose Bowl. That was the flyover in Pasadena, California. And one of these fast flyers went right up to it, and you see it right there. So our thought was, well, we can chase 4-year-old videos from the Middle East and try to figure out what's going on and get whistleblowers to talk and have, skiffs and secure access and being read into programs. And you can do that whole dance. Or you could also, not even or, and at the same time, the Jeremy Corbells of the world doing that very well, I might add, we can also take action ourselves rather than sitting and waiting for the George Knapps of the world to succeed and waiting for Congress to succeed. We can also be doing our part, which is what this video is. Once a secret is out, there's no more benefit for the secret keeper to hold on to it. And if enough people look up and follow this general approach, then disclosure eventually happens as a matter of the government just trying to save face. Thank you for watching. This video would not have been possible without Jim Quirk of the Quirk Zone and the podcast Extraterrestrial Reality. His passion and knowledge of this subject brought us in, and we appreciate that. We also want to thank Dave Scott and SOR, Spaced Out Radio, and specifically the guest he had on January 3, 2024, Dr. Robert Shipe, with Custodian File YouTube channel. If there's any question as to whether these fast flyers are anything other than non-human intelligence, then we highly recommend you visit Dr. Shipe's site, Custodian File. There's a plethora, a huge repository of data, and we would kindly refer you to that. And we also, with gratitude, thank his friend, Mr. Glenn Falkenstein. Thank you.